Here we go. Something I've been saying for a while. Scott Adams, if you know who Scott Adams is, he's a commentator. It recently came out that he is dying of, I assume, cancer. May not last through the rest of the year. Very tragic. He has been controversial or said controversial things. I think he speaks a lot of truth that rubs people the wrong way. Just going to say it. And here he is saying something I have said for a long time about documentaries. It needs to be said. Hear it from Scott Adams, and I'll talk about it on the other side. I'd like to hear your comments, Alan, too.
Here's what you need to know about documentaries. Number one, documentary is the lowest level of credibility of all media. Did you know that? If you had to pick one thing to not believe, it should be a documentary. Documentaries are not designed to give you both sides. They're designed to mislead you into thinking that the thesis is the only thing that matters. Do you think they show the other side? The documentary is the lowest of all forms of credibility. There's nothing lower than that. It's the number one least reliable information that is produced by humanity. Now you might say to yourself, Scott, fake news is worse than that. No, it isn't. It's not even close. Fake news has a competing news business. So if you want, you can look at the fake news and you can see the other argument. You can make your own decision. And the other argument isn't hidden that much. Even within our bubbles, you know you can just turn on Fox News or CNN and see the other side, right? But if you watch a documentary, are you going to go do your own research? Probably not. Probably not. Now, I'm not saying that all documentaries are incorrect.
He's talking about Attack of the Doc there when he says you're not talking about all documentaries. Yeah. So I believe that's what he meant.
Mm-hmm. Specifically, yes.
Specifically that. But what he's saying is something that I've said for a long time. I've seen that increasingly the documentaries that you and I, Alan, see to cover here. Now, I'm not talking about the Pee Wee Herman documentary or entertainment documentaries. They're mainly to give you some insight into something you maybe only have cursory knowledge of. You get a deeper understanding about the making of Star Trek or Pee Wee Herman, who he was as a person, or the history of a TV show. He's talking about political documentaries. He is 100% right. He has more to say. We'll go to it. But increasingly, I see these docs. The thesis for the doc is decided before the doc is made. And when you look at the funding resources for the doc, you'll see from where the agenda is being pushed. He is 100% right. And I'll say the exceptions may be a documentary about Lost in Space, like, okay, whatever. Is there an agenda behind that? Maybe. I doubt it. It's about an old TV show or whatever. Okay. Entertainment documentaries aside, political docs are not reliable at all. I've seen so many docs push so many agendas. Go back and watch Al Gore, no relation, Al Gore's documentary, An Inconvenient Truth.
69.
Almost all the predictions in that doc never happened. I have an issue of Newsweek magazine about the moon landing from 1969, okay? Talking about how climate change is it's gonna destroy everything. We're doomed in like 2 decades, all this. Might be nice if someone made a documentary, collected all these things people have said, and take them to task. Say, well, did this thing you predicted happen? Where was the funding that came that allowed you to say that with a loud megaphone. I want to finish this and then hear what you have to say, Alan. So I'm not trying to cut you off. I just want to
Yeah, no, I get it.
I want to tee up the topic and hear what you have to say. It's 30 more seconds.
I'm not saying that. Surely some documentaries are totally correct. I'm saying
Attack of the Doc, obviously.
Yes.
that you can't tell the difference. So if you can't tell the difference, it's the lowest level of credibility at the highest level of persuasion, because they've got you for like an hour. If I can persuade you on anything and make you pay attention for an hour, I will convince you. Getting you to pay attention for an hour is the hard part. If I can get that, then the convincing is the easy part.
What do you think, Alan?
No, absolutely. For the longest time, issues-based documentaries. Let's call it that. Issues-based documentaries. It is. This is my thesis, and I'm only going to present evidence and information that supports my thesis. I will never challenge my thesis, and if I do, I will mock the person who is offering the counter to that, to show them. For the last, I would say 6 to 8 years, anytime there was a documentary, an issue-based documentary that you really needed to get people on your side, you would show a clip of Trump saying something. There was a documentary I saw about Filipino nurses. If you're not aware, LA is full of Filipino nurses. They came to America, they learned nursing, and that's why it's a noble cause. And at the end of the documentary, when COVID comes up, of course they're gonna bring out all these Trump clips, just to prove some point that makes when you're trying to honor Filipino nurses. So I totally understand what he's saying here, but it's one of those throwing out the baby with the bathwater, as you say. There are documentaries that, I'd like documentaries that go against the grain, counter what is considered common knowledge, such as the environment, such as nutrition and health and the like. Those are the documentaries I'm drawn to. And you brought up something that I found interesting. Wouldn't a great documentary be a documentary that goes over an inconvenient truth?
Or these a documentary that takes a class of documentary and looks at, like, there's a lot of documentaries where you can tell what the agenda is and they only present evidence from one side. And I think that we get a lot of these docs, Alan.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, look, I think pop culture docs are in a different category. Their agenda is mainly to serve the fan base. Okay. What do the fans think? But political docs or food documentaries, there's a lot of food docs. I think that a lot of them come with an agenda, whether they're pushing veganism or whatnot, or climate,
or January 6th,
or January 6th. I see that constantly. I look like that was we interviewed, and I really like Tommy Avalone. He did the documentary about Elmo called "I Love You, You Hate Me," and the end tries a really good doc up until the last 5 minutes. Tries to tie online hate to January 6th in a Barney documentary. It was the movie, and I talked to him about it. We interviewed him. I did take him to task and ask him, like, it wasn't necessary. Like, it was a perfect doc until up to that point. So anyways, all I can say is this. I have had, and this is from being from Detroit, a very highly tuned bullshit detector. Bullshit detector. I see bullshit. When you see it, you need to have that tuned bullshit detector to be able to question things. I mean, if we're doing a bit, let's say later in the show, we do a bit that we take very seriously and people that don't know better might think we're being deadly serious. Just go along with the joke. Everyone in the chat.
Don't foreshadow it at all.
I'm not foreshadowing much.
Okay. All right.
But yeah, this is I thought that was very important to say. So Matthew
Also-
Hammond sent me that, by the way. Thank you, Matthew Hammond. Shout out to you for sending me that link.
Yes, I'll
ahead.
say this.
Please.
I don't mind issue-based documentaries, but you
Yes.
should present the other side. And not only that, you should present the other side fairly. Because if your point is strong enough, you would be able to counter a fair presentation of the opposition. But no, oftentimes these documentaries just, like I said, they'll misrepresent the other side to sound worse than it is, and then they'll bring some speaker, or they'll discredit some speaker whoever said it. No, if your point is as good as you think it is, just present the other side fairly. That's all.